I was just thinking about it. I feel like most people don't have the same concept of what an age of civilization is. Some people think about it in terms of like, well, this is just, I guess, what the world is going through right now, as far as like a technological age, an industrial age, an information age, a space age. These ages are just like, oh, this is like the biggest, best, leading thing that's going on in the world is right now. But, it's the age of a civilization. It's not necessarily the age of society. And we got to get out of the concept that age of civilization means the same thing as age of society. Society is probably what's holding the age of civilization back. Society is the thing that kind of drives our normalcy, whereas civilization drives our ability to survive on this planet. And it's crazy that it has to be that way. I think civilization by definition has to do with civility, right? However, what do we call it before that then? What do we call human civilization before it was considered necessity for it to be civil? Because in order for it to need to be civil, there has to be a reason why it's not already civil. I think a lot of people don't think that way. And this is why I post, this is why I say the things that I say, because I feel like I don't hear it being said a lot. I guess people think that if you have an opinion, that it's automatically invalid. Because how dare you have an opinion on something that disagrees with my opinion on it? So it's almost like a presumption that an opinion is automatically invalid, but then you also have to think about like how unique is somebody's opinion. What's the value in the uniqueness of an opinion? Right? I'm all over the place right now because I'm thinking about a couple of different things. But the uniqueness of an opinion may need to be more valued. What got me started on this was this idea. I saw a billboard of Malala, who, I guess there was a quote of hers on the billboard that said, women need to learn history and make it. Right? Which, of course, right? We want to, I guess, allow for women to, but it's like it's not something that it should be obvious. This is a male-dominated society, but it shouldn't be, number one. And number two, if it wasn't a male-dominated society, does that mean it would be a female-dominated society? Not necessarily, right? Hopefully. But then again, the pendulum swings, right? So who knows in terms of how time plays out. But again, that goes back to what I was saying in the first place, which was, it's crazy that we're here at a point in 2019 where in LA, California, there is a billboard of Malala saying that women should learn history and make it. And that's an actual statement that's like outlandish enough to put on a billboard. I think that's the craziest part. It's like we don't have to make that a weird thing in 2019 enough for it to be a political message. But again, the only way that you can get a scenario like that, this is the thought that occurred to me. The only way that you can have a scenario like that is if you were to have people in this world who have such an old school mindset that they don't quite know how to say I'm backwards or I'm left behind or I stopped developing. They don't know how to say that. That's for them, that would be an insult. It would be a self-degradation, a self-deprecation. Some people are not willing to self-deprecate. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of self-deprecation. It's everything in balance, right? Some people make it seem like self-deprecation has a zero tolerance policy. Like, you cannot ever be on self-deprecation because it will destroy something forever. Oh yeah, this is gonna have to get edited way down. Heavily edited. Heavily edited, heavily edited, heavily edited, heavily edited. Heavily edited, heavily edited. Heavily edited. Heavily edited. Heavily edited. Heavily edited. Oh my God, I'm stupid. Because I know what I want to say, and I want to say it in one whole swoop. So I'd rather not chop it up into a bunch of things, because I don't want to be heavily edited.